Shopping has never been easier than it is today. Advances in phones, laptops, and tablets, in addition to the ease of access to Wi-Fi and data, means that you can order a garment online from virtually anywhere. And, as we all know, where there is consumption, there is waste. The fashion industry contributes to around 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions due to its long supply chains and energy-intensive production. This means that the fashion industry consumes more energy than the aviation and shipping industries combined. This series takes a look at people in Ireland exploring alternative and sustainable methods of fashion production.
Well, either is what everybody is talking. Right, Caitriona. So, we're here sitting in on Diva, and we're going to talk about Sustain Sister, your brand and online store. So you might just tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, of course. So I set Sustain Sister up in July 2017 as an alternative to fast fashion. So I set it up as a way to create awareness around fashion sustainability and to give women in Ireland and globally, I guess, is an alternative option to the high street. And so the name is around two different concepts. So the first one is obviously sustain. So that's the 50% of the brand. So that's the sustainable brands that we've partnered with. So that's sustain. So that kind of equals sustainable brands. And then sister is kind of, I have three sisters. So we were always borrowing clothes and stealing clothes from each other when we were younger. So that's where that comes from. That's the rental part. So it's almost as if you're kind of borrowing from your sister. So it's about renting clothes, and that's where that name came from. I guess fast fashion is probably a concept that came around in kind of like the 90s. I guess Penneys is an example of fast fashion. H&M is an example of fast fashion.
High Street.
And they're basically producing clothes at very high demand. There's new items coming into the stores constantly. A lot of these items are bad for the environment, they're unethical. There might be young children working in these sweatshops as well, and then at the end of the day, these big stores are making huge profit. So I guess that's fast fashion, and that might be based on consumer demand. Customers have wanted new items all the time. A lot of women are buying a couple of items by the week. It's just completely careless consumerism, I guess, and that's what fast fashion is. So I guess I've always been super passionate about fashion, and I've always had a massive love for fashion. So from like a super young age, I was, always dressing up. And then as I got older, then when I was a teenager, I started shopping in vintage stores. I loved it. And then I guess the likes of Kate Moss and all that came in, and a lot of people started wearing vintage fashion. Then I decided that I wanted to take my passion for fashion a little bit further. So I completed a postgrad in fashion buying and retail management in DIT. And while I was there, I learned a lot about kind of, especially things like fashion sustainability, and I learned about luxury fashion as well. And even some of these luxury brands are extremely harmful for the environment. They're burning products that they don't sell and things like that. So I learned a lot about this. And then when I completed that course, I went into buying offices in Dublin. I was working in them, and I discovered a lot of the harmful practices that were going on, and it just didn't sit well with me. I guess around kind of the way they treat their suppliers and their manufacturers that are based in places like Pakistan and India and a lot of the Far East, and the prices that they're being paid. And I guess as well, like the prices that some of these places are charging customers, it just doesn't add up when you see how much they're making them for. And then I guess the impact that all of this has in the environment as well is unbelievable. So while I was in there, I decided that, I wanted to create my own brand and create awareness around sustainability. So that's how I got into Sustain Sister, and that's where that came from. So I provide a couple of different services. So the first service that I provide is around sustainable brands. So I source and sell sustainable brands that women can purchase and be 100% clear that these brands are sourced ethically, that they're produced ethically, and that they're made with materials that are not harmful for the environment. And I guess what that's about is buying good quality items that are going to last a long time. So I want people to be 100% sure that when they're buying these items, that they're going to wear it over 30 times, that it's going to be in their wardrobe for a long time, and then eventually that they're going to either recycle it or repurpose it or give it to somebody else, give it a new lease of life. And then the second part of my brand is around rental, so dress rental. So party dresses are worn on average 1.27 times, which is unbelievable. So it's about giving people, who want to constantly have a new dress, who want to have a new picture on Instagram, being seen wearing something new every day, to have that option to rent instead of buy.
And still be sustainable.
And fashionable at the same time. And then the third part, which is the most exciting part for me, is actually around sustainable fashion tours. So that's the third service. And I hook up with tourists and local people from Ireland as well. And I bring them around Dublin and kind of teach them how to shop sustainably. So we'll visit maybe 6 to 10 vintage and consignment stores around Dublin. They'll hear kind of local stories from local designers and from local shop owners. And I'll show them, that there are extremely fashionable items in vintage and consignment stores if you look. And it's been very positive. I've had a very positive reaction to it, and it's so nice seeing, I guess, the impact that you have in these people's lives. So it's about helping people as well, which is great.